Hello, everyone. My name is Darlene Arneson. I serve as the District 5 Secretary. I'm president here at Matt Lodge in Stoughton, and I also serve in the role as a District Foundation Director for the board. And so happy Foundation Month. October is always Sons of Norway Foundation Month, and a month where we really focus on educating people about the foundation, the many resources and scholarships and grants and opportunities that the foundation has to help benefit our members in the greater community. It also is an opportunity for lodges to really focus on fundraising efforts. So obviously this year, in a year of COVID, we are struggling a little bit in some of the lodges just to meet and have their regular activities and meetings and gatherings and so forth. And so therefore some of those struggles also reach their foundation activities. So we've been trying to field a number of questions, and I've been trying to use the friendly Fifth Friday News to share some different resources for you, but I wanted to do a visual and a video kickoff to Foundation Month. So I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to take a look at a few different things that talk about Foundation Month. So why do we have a Foundation Night or Foundation Month? This was a handout that I had posted around at our lodge's Foundation Night last year just to help educate people as they were coming in. Our lodge has done a variety of different things over the years, but usually our October meeting is a pretty fun, uplifting meeting where we have some fun, we spend some money, we buy some things, we eat some really good food. We've had entertainment and so on. And so it was just a handout that I used to help people understand the importance of the foundation, that it was established back in 1966, that we have given over $1.3 million in scholarships, $390,000 in grants, and more than $500,000 in humanitarian aid. I list the website where they can find more information and what they can do that night to be a part of the event. But first of all, I want to go to the actual Sons of Norway website and the foundation pages, because there is just a wealth of information on the website that you can be using to educate your members and to share those resources, or to print some of the things and have available at your lodge. So if you go to, when you go to the Sons of Norway website, you'll see the foundation drop-down box and so forth. It goes through the core values of the foundation. It gives some highlights. In 2019, they awarded $12,500 in camperships, $27,000 in grants, and $103,000 in scholarships. On our last district foundation directors call, there was also a request that we add some other figures on this sidebar, also how much they have given out in the humanitarian fund. That is for lodge members who lose their homes due to natural disasters. Back in 2005, when we had the tornado here in Stoughton, we had 3 members who lost their homes, and they each got a $1,000 check immediately from the Sons of Norway Foundation. As president, I just had to verify that they had lost their homes and send a picture, and that money was sent. We've had with the Red River flooding, with fires, with tornadoes, with hurricanes, other disasters, that Sons of Norway has been there for our members. They're expanding the humanitarian fund now to offer some other types of support for individuals, and some really, really cool things. So we'll be seeing some more information on the website. But what I'd like to do is to go through some of the key areas of what the foundation offers, and how you can share this information. So, so the grant program is really good. What's kind of neat too is they've got a single page handout that goes through all the grants and when their due dates are and what they're for and so on. And so I made copies of these and had them out at our zone meetings. I had the scholarship one out, several copies of the handout the night of our event and so forth. So the community partnership grant, what's nice is you just click on the drop down arrow, and then it gives you all the information. So I think all the grants and scholarships are going to be opening up on October 15th, deadline December 31st. Some of them have different deadlines, so it's important that you look at these and so on. But this grant is open to individuals or groups who are not Sons of Norway members, but they're working on Norwegian heritage and culture. So, when I think of Stoughton, like Sitnamai committee could apply for this, or there's a Rosemalling group that is interested in doing some activities, or some other types of cultural groups and so on. So this works with people in the community. All the grant guidelines are on the bottom of each one, and then the online applications and so forth. So you can go through each one of the grants that way. They have the Lodge Heritage and Culture Grant. This is for lodges to promote the heritage and culture. So they might be, you're putting on some cultural classes, you're bringing in a dance group, you're doing some type of project on history, or you're hosting groups and you're doing some cultural aspects and so forth. So you can apply for up to $1,500 with that. The Lodge Vitality Group is for lodges that are helping lodges, especially who need help with their operations budget. Some lodges, have older equipment or buildings and so forth that need some new things. Sometimes technology is an issue, that we have lots of really good programs and online programs, but if you don't have a projector and a screen to put them on and a computer to run it, it gets pretty difficult. So Lodge Vitality grants help to help you fund those. The Humanitarian Fund has 3 different components now. It has the Helping Hands to Children grant, and this is for youth activities, educational programming. So your Adopt a School, your Barna Norse clubs, heritage programs, camps you might be doing. If you're doing reading programs and you're purchasing books and so on, the Helping Hands to Children grant is a great one to consider. They also have the Helping Hands to Member the Disaster Relief grants, and again, this is where if people are losing their homes, they have increased the amount to $5,000 per person, or per family, for property damage. So that's floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, wildfires, and so on. And so as we see some of the horrific pictures from out west right now with the fires, we know there are Sons of Norway members out there, and we hope that their district is able to help connect them to this Helping Hands to members. And then they also have added a brand new one, which is the Medical Relief Grants. And so this is a brand new program. The criteria is being worked on, and this is going to be able to help people who have some medical needs and so forth. So they are kind of working on the logistics of this, but that's a pretty exciting thing. So those are all the grants that we have. So then if we go to our scholarships, and I'm not going to go through each one because there are a lot of scholarships. So as you look at this whole list and so forth, the first ones are a lot of our educational, but the cool thing is you can click on that hyperlink, and it's got all the scholarships in a great kind of 2-pager. And so this is something that you could download and email out to all your members. They could share it with their, grandchildren or children and nieces and nephews and so forth, and look to see if they qualify, or if they need to be a member or a benefit member, and kind of the process. So I really like these kind of overviews and so on. For each one of the scholarships, when you drop down the arrow again, the type of scholarship, what it's for, who it's for, what the criteria are, the guidelines and so forth. There's some that are membership required. There are some that are very specific. For example, the Nancy Lorraine Jensen one, I believe, is the engineering one. And she was a young person who had passed away, and that was her field. And so this is to encourage young women to enter into the field of science and engineering. So some are very, very specific. So, this could be a great lodge program or something for your foundation director to do some overviews of this. We also have some that support international travel. We have the Folk High School scholarships. We have the International Summer School ones. We have the Lund Fund scholarships, the Helen Drockville Folk High School. So lots of opportunities, if especially going to Norway and studying and so forth, for people to do. And again, on each one of these, the requirements and what they have to do, and then you can click and you get a more detailed amount of the guidelines and so forth. And it'll just take a second to load here. So so anyway, so there's lots of information and so forth on this. So I really encourage you to take some time to become familiar with that and to share that with your members and so forth. Under the donate part, it'll take you to a secure donation part. You can donate right now online. You can send in using the envelopes in your last Viking magazine. You'll notice there was a foundation envelope, and they did a really nice job in that issue highlighting different recipients of the grants and scholarships and how we raise money and our end of the year campaign. There's also legacy gifts that you can give for larger dollar amounts and more working with your estates and so forth. They also have the club donations, and so those again, you can be in the foundation club, and that's where you're giving a recurring donor of $250, $500, or $1,000 on an annual basis. It also has lots of ideas for ways that you can fundraise and also when they are doing fundraisers. The oversight and governance tab talks about our board of governors. The foundation board is called the Board of Governors, and so there are a variety of different people that serve on that. The annual reports are on here. If someone wants to be on the Board of Governors, they just closed that application cycle for this round, but there is information on how you can go about being a part of that. Another thing that is a resource is the Sons in Our Way Foundation Facebook page. And this is a page that we hope to populate a little bit more. And now during Foundation Month, we certainly will. But, lots of links and reminders on scholarship applications and things like that. For those of you in District 5, we also have the Nordic Legacy Foundation. We have a number of fundraising efforts. One is we had the photo contest, and now they're selling the playing cards. We are going through like a lot of those. We ordered 1,000 decks and we just approved ordering another 1,000. So thank you everyone for supporting that. We have some books that Mike Pellicek had worked on, the Norwegian Settlement book, the Hidden Heroes book, which was a remake. We have Norwegian flags for sale. We have the sweatshirts, hats, aprons, lots of opportunities to support our Sons in Norway District 5 Nordic Legacy Foundation. And then some other things. One of our district officers, Karen Eberhardt, had come up with kind of a COVID non-contact version of a fundraiser in which you're collecting items, getting pictures of them, making a list of those baskets and items and so forth, and then publicizing the list to your members. And then they can basically take this sheet of like tickets, and it's $1 a ticket, and they can if they want to fill out 30 of them or whatever, and they want to have 10 of the tickets go for basket number 1 and 10 tickets for basket 3, and then the coordinator, it might be your foundation director, it might be a committee that's working on them, will be collecting the tickets. They have a certain time period to send them in, and then they do a drawing. So it's like a basket raffle drawing, except to social distance during COVID. This is one that you can do from a distance. So it's a pretty nice and simple one. Another new resource for Foundation Month is a donation form. And so one of the things that I know we find at our lodge, we usually do some type of theme nights. So we've had Egyptian nights, and we've had 50s rock and roll nights, and all kinds of things. We've had harvest nights and pies, and we always have baskets and items that we're auctioning off, or doing basket raffles, or doing live or silent auctions, or paddle raffles and so forth. And so oftentimes members will say, well, I brought a basket, so I don't have a check to write out because I bought the items at the store and so forth. And so we encourage the Sons in Norway Foundation office to put together a form so that if you're having an event where people are donating items and so on, that they can still get credit for that as in-kind donations. So their efforts in getting those items together and getting those baskets or buying those gift cards and so on, that we can turn those in. So this is a nice new form that you can send along And that way, let's say you do some type of auction now in October, when you're sending in the check from the lodge, then you can have this list of names of people who also get credit, for helping to support the foundation. So that's kind of a cool thing. So, and then also in regard to Facebook, if we go to the District 5 page, and it'll just take a second to get there, um, we will have, I get our lodge one, and just give me a second and we'll sneak down to District 5. This is a District 5 Sons of Norway Facebook page, and for the month of October, I will be doing daily foundation posts, so make sure that you watch for that, and like our page and follow our page and so forth, so you can get all that information, because that's always a good way to do that. So anyway, happy Foundation Month, and again, there's lots of opportunities in District 5 for us to help you out. Our lodge is exploring some of the different auctions. Our members had until October 1st to let us know if they were going to be donating anything. We have a number of members who are just sending in checks in the envelopes from their Viking, and we really encourage that, and especially this year in COVID, if you're more comfortable in writing out a check or doing an online donation, make sure that you list what lodge that you're from, so that they do keep track of the lodges and how many members from the lodges donate and so forth. But, that certainly is more than welcome. We always have, opportunities throughout the year when hopefully we're all back together, to do some fun fundraising in person. But in this day and age, things are a little bit different. We also are exploring some different online auctions. We've noticed that our local hospital foundation and the state FFA foundation use 32 auctions. So it's 32 and then the word auction, which is a free auction online service up to 20 items. And then after that, you need to pay and so forth. I know our Relay for Life did a closed Facebook auction where people had to ask to join the group, and then they were approved, and then they could bid on them. And then if they were the winning bid, they wrote out a check when they picked up the items. So lots of different ways. Karen Eberhard had that really good idea too of how to do a no contact, where they're sending in their slips of paper. So lots of different ways to do that. Or again, just to get together. I know I heard of one lodge who met in a park, and they had some items that people did kind of a little, I don't know if they did a silent auction or if they did a competitive bidding auction, or like a silent auction, table bidding and so forth. But they, were able to raise some money that way. So lots of different things that you can try to do. So we really appreciate your support of the foundation. Even though we're in COVID and we're not meeting like we want to and so forth, that doesn't mean that the need for the things that the foundation sponsors goes away. So we appreciate your efforts, we appreciate your support, but most importantly, we appreciate you helping to spread the word about the foundation and encourage people to send in donations, but also to apply for things. If you've got projects, apply for those grants. If you've got people going on to school or wanting to have that Norway experience, look at those travel scholarships and international summer school and the Folk High School. And not all of those are just for high school and college kids. We have adults that go to the international summer school and the Folk High schools and so forth. So lots of opportunities for people that way as well. So we hope that you learned something here, and you can always contact us if you need more information. But thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.